Welcome back to the Fraction Report. I'm your host, George Fraction, bringing you the good news you can use for January 17, 2023. Today's title is that every brother ain't my brother. And I say that because many are called, but few are chosen. I'm going to begin with this individual, Raphael Warnock, who was a pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church and also the newly elected Democratic senator out of Georgia. He won in a runoff against Herschel Walker, which within itself is a disgrace to any politician, because if you have to have a runoff against Herschel Walker, who can barely make a coherent sentence, you are a disgrace. Furthermore, this man is a pastor. You are supposed to be an orator. You're supposed to be able to, exact words from your mouth to give someone a verbal holocaust if need be. You're supposed to be casting out demons and so forth and so on with your mouth. And you can't rebuke Herschel Walker? Let's continue. Anyway, of course, it was Martin Luther King Day and so forth and so on, and people were observing. So he has President Joe Biden at Ebenezer Baptist Church to give some remarks. And just that within itself is a disgrace, because Biden himself voted against busing once upon a time. But hey, people evolve. Let's go. Um, yeah, but it's a disgrace, because the thing is, a lot of times they don't talk about the last speeches and sermons of Dr. King. They talk about "I have a dream" and black children and white children drinking at the fountain of prosperity and so forth and so on. But in his last days, he spoke about integration, and it being that he walked his people into a burning building. You understand what I'm saying? You can look these things up. Furthermore, in his last sermon, he spoke about in order for this nation to take atonement, there has to be a gross redistribution of wealth and resources and so forth and so on, i.e., reparations. I'm talking about for the descendants of American slaves. So, for you to have this individual up here who, when asked about reparations, talks about everything else but reparations. You can look these things up. All you have to do is type in Joe Biden response to reparations. He's going to go to talk about immigration and Latinos and underserved communities. He's going to talk about education. He's going to talk about a lot of things. But what he's not going to talk about is reparations. And as far as his press secretary is concerned, when it was Jen Psaki, she came out and said that he supports a study for reparations, which is HR 40. A lot of times, if you ever see a representative out here or any type of politician out here and they're asked about reparations, they're going to bring up HR 40 as if HR 40 is a bill to actually get you some bread. You know what I'm talking about? It is not. HR 40 is a bill that is for the study of reparations, not for reparations to come through, not for you to get anything, just for them to come forth with a commission so they can do a study about whether or not reparations is feasible, whether or not it's justifiable, so forth, so on. My thing is this: was there a commission about the Jews? We get them money every year. Israel, we get them money every year. You know what I mean? It comes out the budget. You can say that it's to have a foothold in the Middle East and this, that, and the third. Hey, man, whatever. Man, y'all done gave Holocaust survivors money. We didn't perpetrate that. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so furthermore, same thing with when it comes to Japan. And you can say, oh, it's just to have a foothold in the East and boo, boo, boo. I don't care nothing about that. You gave those folks reparations for what you did to them. When y'all dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, reparations. And not only that, but y'all were at war at the time, and you still gave these folks reparations. So for you to not piece us off, the sons and daughters of the people that built this country, you know what I'm talking about? It's egregious. You know what I'm talking about? It's outrageous. But let's continue. So President Biden, he gets up here, and I quote, "This moment is a time for choosing. Are we a people who will choose democracy over autocracy?" And for those of you who do not understand the difference between democracy and autocracy, I will break that down real quick. The definition of democracy: a system of a government by the whole population or all the eligible members of state, typically through elected representatives. Now, the definition of autocracy: a system of government by one person with absolute power. Now, the democracy thing within itself is a sham, because they're sitting here telling you through the door it's a system by the whole population or all the eligible members. So they're telling you through the door that there's second class, third class, fourth class citizenship, and you know what I mean? You will not be involved. So, whatever. Now, once he made that statement, he says that you couldn't ask that question 15 years ago because everybody thought democracy was settled, but it's not. What happened 15 years ago that was so great that stamped democracy as just just, it's here. It's here. It's here to stay. Let me think. 15 years ago. Do the math on that. Oh, y'all Lord and Savior Obama. Is that what he's referencing? The Messiah had came back? He says literally, you couldn't ask that question 15 years ago because everybody thought democracy was settled. I don't know about you, but 15 years ago, yeah, me and mine were still catching hell. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had not overcome. You know what I'm talking about? It had not come. You know what I'm saying? Until this day, it has not come. So I don't understand what he's talking about. And this is where the messaging and just the complete disrespect comes off because you don't even understand your audience. Who are you talking to? You're sitting there saying to a predominantly black audience in a predominantly black church where Dr. Martin Luther King preached, you said out of your mouth that when it comes to democracy, you couldn't ask that question 15 years ago because everybody thought democracy was settled. But it's not. So just that statement within itself is so disrespectful. He continues with, and I quote, Americans have to choose a community over chaos. These are the vital questions of our time and the reason why I'm here as your president. Okay, let's go. Let's continue. And I quote, I believe Dr. King's life and legacy show us the way, and we should pay attention. Now, if you believe that his legacy, that his life and his legacy shows us the way, when you're asked about reparations, you would have a direct answer and you would be completely for that. Because in his last days, that's what that man was talking about. He was talking about a gross redistribution of wealth and resources and whatnot. You understand what I'm saying? Again, i.e., reparations. But the fact of it is, I'm not tripping off Biden. Biden has shown time and time and time again that he has no respect for the intellectual minds of the black community. You're going to get up here and you're going to juck and jive and dance and do whatever you feel that you got to do to get these votes. You know what I'm talking about? For the and I don't like to disparage people, you know what I'm saying, because of their political beliefs or anything like that, but you're not really catering to the intellectual black community. You're here to throw trinkets around. You're going to do what you have to do for the elites who quote unquote gatekeep. They're going to get blessed. They're going to be, you know what I'm talking about, compensated and taken care of. But as far as the vast majority of black Americans, you have no respect for us. And I've spoken on that on many other videos as far as his answers when it comes to things, as far as him sitting down having a conversation with Cardi B. I mean, it's just grossly disrespectful. So, again, I'm not tripping on him. I know what he's about. I know how he's coming. My thing is with this individual, Raphael Warnock. This is what I mean by every brother ain't my brother. Everybody like this ain't down with the play. Because for you to sit here and allow this man to come in here and defile this place, you know what I'm talking about? And I don't have the highest esteem for churches and buildings and things of that nature, because I believe that any place two or more assemble and speak on the goodness, you know what I'm talking about, this game, or i.e. the Lord, we didn't have church. So my point is, this is a place where this man who, no matter what they say in these times, and we're going to get into that about slander, is an upstanding guy as far as our people are concerned. But again, every brother ain't my brother, which brings me to this next individual, which is a much more lighthearted situation, but it's just another magnification. This is just another example of every brother not being my brother. We're going to go to Stephen A. Smith, the jivers of the jive. You know what I'm talking about? It's just the disparaging how he has this understanding and this cool and calm, and you know what I mean, all this it's just a very understanding, a very calm approach when it comes to Europeans versus when it's a brother in the same situation. Now I'm just going to use Ray Rice and Dana White as two examples, how he handled one situation and the language he used versus the other situation. Now, when speaking on Ray Rice, he said, "I'm coming with my boys. I'm coming. My boys is coming." And he talked about how the police and and how he'll put his hands on somebody, to put his hands on a woman. And I mean, he just kept it very ghetto. It was very hood. It was very performative, to say the least. And he went on to say Ray Rice deserves more than the 2-game suspension. Okay, now you're coming out of your mouth exacting what what you think should go on with him. Okay. And the thing is, he had no opinion about the sternness of the punishment exacted on Dana White. He said that he believes that he should just do the same thing that he would do to any other fighter, or whatever the case may be. But there was nothing beyond that. There's nothing beyond that. You know what I mean? He went further on to say that women are right to say Ray Rice should never play again. Okay, so I mean, that's quote unquote cancel culture, is it not? Let's continue. He said that it's egregious. It cannot be defended, and he should be out for the year. He should be ashamed to show his face, quite honestly. That's what he said. And that's cool, that's fine, great. If that's your opinion about it, fine. All I'm asking for is the same when it comes to his counterpart. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody in the life who's a European. Let's see. He says he deserves the same punishment he would hand down to one of his fighters. Am I an advocate for cancel culture? Question mark. Do I want him to lose his job? Question mark. No. He's been married 27 years and his wife spoke out. It's a family matter and it's a private matter. What do you mean? Do you want him to lose his job? Or am I an advocate for cancel culture? When it came to Ray Rice, you were an advocate. When you said women are right to say Ray Rice should never play again, that's cancel culture, my friend. That's them canceling him because of one situation. That's saying that man doesn't deserve to make a living in the field in which he's invested basically his whole life. So because of this personal infraction that he had in his personal life, his professional life should be over. But then when it comes to Dana White, you say that you're not an advocate for cancel culture. I mean, it's just the same explaining away. He's done the same thing with the boy Jerry Jones. You understand what I'm saying? When the picture came up with him, you talking about he wasn't in the front of the line. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, my friend. But again, every brother ain't my brother. We got to stop feeling like everybody that's out here that look like us is down with us. Excuse me. Man, excuse me. This is getting tough out here. Anyway, back to the case and the point. We're going to go on to the next individual. I'm not done. You know what I'm talking about? Because what people have to understand is that these people are propped up. Some sent from higher up, some sent from, you know what I'm talking about, different entities, but they're all here to gatekeep. They're all here to control. They're all here to agitate. They're all here to keep us from getting on one accord. Let's go on to this individual, Charleston White, y'all favorite loudmouth, cockeyed motherfucker. And I'm just gonna say this real quick for all you dudes that be hollering street and y'all so street and y'all this, y'all that. Hey man, if you're vouching for anything this dude is talking about, hey man, you need to go home, bag it up, because ain't nothing street about you, my friend. Because any individual that was sat here and play police games the way he plays police games, my friend, Ain't nothing street about that. And I'm not advocating nobody to be in the streets, but what I'm saying is if you've taken on this code of life and you've taken on this lifestyle, hey man, young brother, you're confused right now. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about you're confused in your heart, your mind, your soul, everything, and you need to pack it up, take it home, and rethink what you're doing with your life. Because if you believe this man is the butt naked truth and you're out here living in these streets, son, you're wrong. You're wrong, son, and I'm here to tell you that. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're living that street, man, that ain't no police games. And he'll sit here and throw emotional things. Okay, we're gonna get to this, man. I'm not finna ramble. We're gonna get straight to it. Now, when it came to Farrakhan, and this came from a little short, you can go on YouTube and see it. He say Farrakhan ain't led nothing. We hear him talking, but we don't see him doing. Now here we go. We talking about Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam. You understand what I'm saying? And you can like him, not like him, agree with him, not agree with him. The fact that you said that man ain't led nothing, we hear him talking, but we don't see him doing. That man been doing since been doing. That man has been all around the world talking to foreign dignitaries in the name of black people here in America. What are you talking about? But again, they send these people out here to tear down your leaders so you don't have no respect for them. And I'm going to get into that. He went on to say, Malcolm ain't never stood toe-to-toe with the police. Like, dude, what are you talking? But for an individual that doesn't have any education and doesn't know anything and doesn't have any history about themselves, you'll just sit here and listen to this foul-mouthed idiot because he said one or two things in the past that may be true, or one or two things in the past that you may agree with. But this is what he does. So he goes on to say the Black Panthers, Fred Hampton, Bobby Hutton, teenagers, them was the leaders. They were shooting it out with the police, so forth, so on. You see how he'll mix in an individual to bring strife amongst brothers? Now, you want me to shit on Farrakhan, you want me to shit on Martin, you want me to shit on Malcolm, but at the same time, you want me to uphold Fred Hampton and Bobby. Here's the thing, it takes all of us. You understand what I'm saying? It takes all of us. But and furthermore, a broke clock is right twice a day. This is what this individual does. He will throw out some bullshit and then throw in some truth or something righteous in the mix of it to get you back in the mix to take in the bullshit. And y'all going for that. Then he finishes off with Farrakhan got sense. They know what that white boy do for them. He ain't no dummy. How you think he been able to exist for so long? Like, dude, the level of discrediting that you doing, I'm not even gonna go into what you talking about with these rap dudes. Now, I don't care nothing about that. You know what I'm talking about? We're talking about real prominent black men that have, I'm talking about, laid their life down. I'm talking about for the betterment of black people. And you gonna sit here and get on these folks' internet and attempt to defame these people? But again, if you allow an individual to defame your leaders and so forth and so on, then you don't have no respect for them. Therefore, you don't have no respect for their message. Therefore, you're not going to demonstrate the message. And that's what it's all about. The government has been sending these individuals into our communities, into our churches, into our organizations, so forth and so on since I'm talking about since way back in the day. COINTELPRO. I keep saying it. I keep saying it. I keep saying it. I keep talking about it. It's a new demonstration called Black Identity Extremism. If you go back in some of my shows, I'm talking about all these type of things. But I'm just going to break down 4 of the footnotes again from COINTELPRO. This is from a government document. I'm talking about the FBI. I'm talking about, listen here, man. I'm talking about it stood for Co-Intelligence Program. These people were actively neutralizing. And when I say neutralize, I mean put them down forever. Send them to the Father. By government sanction. Number 1, prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. This one is very important. Number 2, prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Again, that's anybody who can rock the microphone, anybody who can get people together on one accord, anybody who has the magnetism, anybody who has the charisma to get on this microphone. And I'm talking about he's a real orator and he can really get people, I'm talking about get things going. He will be targeted for extermination. We're not playing with you. You're out of here. Number 3, and this one is what I was just talking about: prevent militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to the community. Do you see how they talk with slander on these people's names these days? Martin Luther King, oh, he was an adulterer. Malcolm X, before he found the nation, when he was out pimping, he was homosexual. On and on to the break of dawn. You understand what I'm saying? What does that have to do with anything? Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, what you're saying about these people is true. What does that have to do with it? But the thing is, if I can vilify you and shit on you and break you down and say that you're not as great as what they claim that you are, the respect level comes down, and as time goes on, 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 you're nothing. You become a meme on a party flyer. Are we getting it now, people? Okay, number 4. A final goal should be to prevent the long-range growth of militant black nationalist organizations, especially among the youth. Who's on YouTube mostly? All day, every day? The youth. Who Charleston White be always talking about? The youth. Damn these niggas. I'm trying to say the children. The women and the children. The women and the children. How much sense does that make? You're trying to save the women and the children, but fuck these niggas? What's going to happen to the women and the children without the niggas? The logic, it makes no sense. But again, he understands that black people are emotional. We are an emotional people. So that's why he's loud. That's why he's ignorant. That's why he does all the rambunctious things that he does, because he knows that as black people, we like to be entertained. We love a show. We love to see a nigga show his ass. We love to see a disrespectful, foul-mouthed motherfucker just say the wildest shit. And that's another thing. This internet is a motherfucker, because individuals like him, literally, I'm talking about, just get on here with the most, I'm talking about, scary, Sherry, Macho Man, Randy Savage, Ric Flair shit you can come up with to get clicks and likes. I don't care who I have to disrespect. I don't care what black leader I'm finna tarnish. I'm finna get up here and get some clicks and likes. Fuck Marcus Garvey. Fuck E.B. Du Bois. Fuck Nat Turner. He was a faggot. On and on to the break of dawn. I mean, people, you just don't care. And y'all run around and say this nigga's the truth. It's a whole interview where he's sitting here with a group, a room full of men, and I mean, he's screaming to the top of his lungs. I mean, just screaming. Don't want to let nobody talk. I mean, just like a whole up. I mean, come on, man. This what y'all following, but this is why we're at where we're at. This is why these dudes keep showing out and clowning, because you following an emotional dude. This guy's emotional. You should be able to have an interview and state your business, state your stance, state your mission statement, state even in a debate as men. You let another man talk, state his business. If you have a rebuttal or a retort, come on with it after he's done. You shouldn't have to scream and holler and sweat and all that foolishness. That's not what men do. We got stop this. This is nonsense. But y'all talking about he's the truth because he's against gangs. But don't y'all ride around to gang all day long? I mean, ain't this the mass majority of the music you listen to? Like, niggas got to decide what y'all want to do, man, because this straddling the fence shit ain't gonna get it. And man, come on, man. Come on, man. This nigga's the truth. The individual that will sit here and say that Louis Farrakhan ain't never did nothing. Malcolm X ain't did nothing. Man, that's blasphemy. It's heresy. And this is who y'all exalt? Like, it's madness, my friends. It's madness. But again, every brother ain't my brother. And I can continue to just go down the line of bootlicking niggas and agitators. Because everybody that comes out here doesn't come under the Bootlicking White Supremacy Act. There are people out here, i.e. Charleston White, and individuals like him that literally sit up and agitate. They are sent here to agitate. You see the slander that they throw on Tupac's name constantly. And I'm not no fan for nobody. I'm not no fanboy. I don't fan out about nothing. I've been around, man. It doesn't matter to me. The point is they shit on him to belittle his message. They shit on him so you won't go listen to his interviews. That man was talking about starting a political party, getting away from the two-party system. That man was, I'm talking about, born of revolutionaryism. So if we can discredit him and say that he ain't who he was, so forth and so on, and he was a fake gangster, and he was this and that, and he was a studio gangster, and he was, hey man, ain't nothing studio about shooting two police. Ain't nothing studio about that death. Because he felt, you know what I mean? Hey, it is what it is. You know, and I'm not glorifying that. I'm just saying that, again, in the footnotes of COINTELPRO, you understand what I'm saying? In their footnotes, and what they set out to do. Number 3 and number 2 are two of the most prevalent today. Number 3, more so than anything, prevent militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to the community. When you have an individual such as this that gets on here and shits on, I'm talking about historic individuals, hey man, they're sent here for a reason. Because again, like I say, once you take the respect off of somebody, then you can begin to not only vilify them, but make caricatures of them, i.e. what we see on the flyers. And I don't understand why black people are just not catching on this. This has been going on strong, I know for sure, since 2012, as far as MLK being on the weekend joint with the goals and the, you know, trapped out, they just imposing his body on the dude. Yeah, that been going on, family. Y'all really need to get in these streets and see what been going on. Know what I'm about? But like I say, I said all that to say this. There are agent provocateurs out here, you know what I'm saying? So every brother ain't your brother. Everybody that you hear, quote unquote, talking about some black righteousness and all of that, hey man, you better really listen to what they talking about. You better really get down with their platform and see what they're really talking about. And I said once and I said again, I'm not here to cloud up off nobody by saying their name or nothing like that. I'm bringing you raw information. And if you down with that, hey, for real, hey, stay away from me. And I'm talking about for real. I'm talking about you street dudes out here. Hey man, you talking about you follow CW and you down with what CW talking about? Hey man, get the fuck on back. No, that's real talk, because we ain't doing that over here. You know what I'm talking about? You can't sit here and defame righteous men. I know you're here in the name of confusion, and if that's your prophet, that's who you're listening to, that's who you getting your instruction from, hey, man, hey, get on back, Jack. Back up off me like hot coffee. I'm talking about real talk, man. Back up real fast. You know what I'm talking about? We ain't doing that over here, man. We ain't playing no police games over here, man. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, straight business. You don't sit here and raise your voice at no man and get belligerent with no man. Then when a man stand up and puts you in your place, you go talk about how many white boys you got on your phone and how you gonna send the white boys at him and so forth. And I'm cool with the police and I got plenty. But this is how this man came to the table. This is how he went viral on some police shit. And if you're a civilian, hey, great, follow that man, roll with him. I'm talking about whatever, I don't care. But for you dudes that's talking about y'all street and y'all doing this and y'all doing that, man, and you talking about, man, you subscribe to what that man talking about? Hey, boy, you need to check up from the neck up, man. But again, every brother ain't my brother, man. Y'all be cool, man.